Sundays are for relaxation and reflection. The Onyx Code presents a podcast all about life's exciting challenges, which includes balancing our careers, families, love lives, and what's going on in the world. So get cozy and pop your favorite bottle of champagne. This is Mimosa Hour with your host, Bri.ellee.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am so excited to kick off our first episode with one of my girls. She started her career in the music industry and later found her passion in interior design and real estate. Please welcome my friend Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for joining me. I'm so excited. Do you have your little champagne or wine with you?
I do.
What are you drinking?
I'm definitely doing red wine.
Ooh,
That's my vibe. But I do feel like I've been drinking a lot more lately, so it feels really normal.
Is it because of the quarantine?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What kind of red wine do you drink?
What is this one called? I'm drinking, it's called Firefly Ridge. It's actually so it's from Ralph's. It's like a little cheapy wine brand, but it's actually really good, when you're buying
Yeah, I feel like the cheap ones are really good. It sneaks up on you real fast.
Yeah, it's about finding, I think, the wine brands that are cheap enough to where you can buy them in bulk and just have them around the house. But then there's so many out there besides just the really, really cheap ones.
Yeah. So I feel like we have really productive conversations when we talk, which I don't really have much with my other friends that's to say. I feel like when we talk about things, it's very more goal oriented and what we're up to and what we want to do.
Definitely.
So I'm so excited to talk to you. So just for some context, can you kind of briefly tell about your experience transitioning between two industries that are kind of not, you wouldn't think of the two, coming from music to now real estate and interior design?
Yeah, so I started out in the music and film industry, just on the back end stuff, the business side, and I loved it. That was my passion. I thought I always wanted to work at a label and pursue music from the business side. But after doing it, I think so young, and I did it since I was 19 up until about, I want to say 26, 27. I was so jaded from the industry. I just felt obviously it's a very misogynistic environment. I think that, especially particularly in hip hop and that the urban culture where I was predominantly working, it is just very misogynistic. I think that as we get older, women, we want to start to settle into our family life and into relationships, and it just wasn't realistic the way I was traveling, and I was living out of luggage, and I wasn't sleeping. We were doing 18-hour studio sessions, so I was really exhausted. And I, more than anything though, knew I wanted to go into transition into a regular, I guess, more grounded career where I could stay home more or stay in LA more. But I didn't know what would get me out of bed in the morning, because
I know that passion.
Yeah, that passion. I think living in LA, we're so spoiled, and we see so many other people living out their dream out here that no one really wants to just go to work every day. I think it's a millennial thing as well, but
it could be, yeah.
Yeah, I the 9 to 5 structure, I just hated it. So I literally just prayed on it, and I read this book. It's called Find Your Why, which was really, it was really pivotal for me because the book is focused on finding the thing that moves you, your purpose, or the thing that moves you, the thing that gets you out of bed. And there was a chapter that spoke on, it was saying that studies show or something like that. There was a case study that the thing that you want to do when you're around the age of 7 years old like whatever that is, like whether it's a singer or like an astronaut, whatever it is, it it tends to be the thing that moves you. You know, it's your why. And I remember I read it and I was like, okay, like that's really interesting. And then I prayed on it. A couple weeks later, a friend of mine signed a lease for like a nail salon or something like that. And like the first thing that I blurted out was like, "Can I help you decorate it?" You know, and it hit me like it just went off like a light bulb. Like, duh, like this is the thing um, that excites you. Like you, like I would do this for free. You know, I just want to help.
Yeah.
I want to help my friend.
Yeah.
And I thought about it. I'm like, when I was 7, I sure did. I used to have my mom. She brought home this book. It was an architect slash design book, and it used to have like all these pictures of different interiors and like floor plans. And like I remember I couldn't read it, but I like carried it around for like 2, 3 weeks. So I was like, that's kind of crazy. So yeah, that's when I decided to go into design, and then interior design. I I'm actually still in school for design, but I'm almost done. It's been a 2-year process,
Right.
and then real estate. Like real estate's just too much money to make, like to not get involved in it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Especially in
And they
Los
go
Angeles.
hand in hand too.
Absolutely. Like I think, well, that's exactly why I decided to go into real estate. I've always like been told that, you know, like it's such a lucrative market, and to me it was always like stuffy and like I don't
Mm,
want to say boring. It's not boring, but it's too stuffy and like finance oriented, and I'm more creative, you know what I mean? And so I
right.
would always shy away from it. But when I started to learn about architecture and like floor plans and understanding materials and finishes, it really seemed like a no-brainer. You know, especially while I'm in school, I'm like, okay, I can just sell like 2, you know what I'm saying, solid homes. Like that's like a decent salary for your year, and then anything else on top of that is just extra, you know? Yeah.
Well, that's good that you were able to find your way. 'Cause I've noticed, even with myself, I've had issues, not issues, but it was a struggle to figure out like what is it exactly that I love to do, because I know I can do a lot of things. I know I'm good at a lot of things, but it's what is that one thing that I know that I can do for the rest of my life that is not only fun and enjoyable, but that can generate some type of income that can support my family in the future. So,
Wow.
I mean, that's great that you're able to find that. So, with this whole COVID-19 coronavirus stay at home thing that we're going through right now, have you like what changes have you seen in your industry? Because I know right now everyone's life just stopped abruptly and so many changes has happened and a lot of people aren't prepared for it. So like what have you seen in that market in the industry of real estate and interior design that
Um,
you've noticed so far?
yeah, so definitely immediately what I saw was there was like a huge halt. You know what I mean? Like a lot of I've heard like of a lot of within that first week, a couple escrows fell out just because of people's uncertainty. There was like a lot of fear, especially that first month. I think that fear based mindset is like it's kind of it's easing up a little bit now. I mean, I feel that way, but I know like when this first hit, it was a really scary thing, and so there was just a lot of like uh, standstill. You know, there was like obviously over the last couple of months, we've just seen like millions that are like suddenly out of work, and so what would typically be like a super booming season for real estate. The spring market in real estate is like booming compared to the winter time. Everyone, I mean, in real estate, it's a known thing that in like
Mm,
winter, Christmas season, everything is like super slow. It's dead, and then comes
mm,
spring, and it's like okay, it's go time. And so this came
mhm,
right at that moment where it was like picking up. Our economy was doing insanely good, you know.
right.
Real estate market was booming. Like it just they've been saying that the market was supposed to slow down like, you know, last year and then it was going to be this year, but it didn't show signs of slowing down. at all, you know?
Right. Yeah, I remember that they predicted a recession, and just based on, the our country's economics, but in reality, the recession happened because of a quote unquote natural disaster, something that we couldn't control, which
Right.
is insane.
Right, exactly. Like that's the thing. So yeah, they've been predicting that. I mean, just the real estate market, the economy was, due to like fall any day now, and it was actually, doing the opposite. Like I think January 12th, 2020, like the economy hit its record high, like Dow Jones index number, which was like, I don't even want to say the number. It was high though. It was like the highest it's ever been, So everything was just booming. And so from that, like, I feel like what I'm seeing though in the sales is like a lot of the sales have halted. Um, but what I'm seeing also like in the rent market is that lots of homes and lots of apartments are the rent is dropping really quickly. Like over the span of like a couple of days or like a week, I've seen some homes that were listed at $9,000 a month for rent drop to like 8,000,
Mm,
7,500.
wow.
So you are seeing the shifts a lot quicker in the rent industry, the rent market, but um,
Hmm.
yeah, it's interesting to see like what's going to happen.
But are people still buying? Like, are people still looking for houses? Because now would be the time. I mean, ideally, if you were to buy, prices and stock is at its lowest. Um, so are people still looking, or are they like scared? Are they trying to save their money and hold on to it?
I think it has a lot to do with like I think people are, well, I would think that they're moving accordingly to like what their financial plan looks like, right? Because the thing about it is like it was before all this happened and still is a really good time to buy because another thing that's happening simultaneously is we have like historically low interest rates, um, on loans and stuff at the moment. So that's a definite plus. But I think that if you have, the type of buyers that were using their savings and gonna dump all their savings into buying a home or into like a down payment or into a fixer upper, I think that you're seeing a lot of those halts, those type of sales halt because people don't know if they need to hold on to their savings. Now there's so much uncertainty. Literally, like like I don't even know the number, but we know like millions have lost their job or they're out of work or they don't know if they're going back to work. So that's definitely been a huge impact. But if I mean, it is also a great time to buy because what I what I predict is going to happen is it's gonna shift into what's a buyer's market where because there's not so much demand, basically the buyer has the upper hand. There's less there's less demand, because less people are willing to move, less more people don't have the money to move. So um, the buyer kind of has the upper hand in where they don't have as much competition, on offers and things like that. Also, you could have like what's a seller's panic, obviously in the times where like there's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to your finances, sellers might be more anxious to sell quickly. So they're willing to take a lot lower than they might have, if things were going as planned. So it's definitely a great time to buy, I would say, if you feel like you have the stability, and if you feel like you have that cushion of that savings where you can put your money into a home, but still be comfortable and not have to worry about the outcome. I think it's a great time to buy. Also, obviously with the low interest rates, it's really ideal at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now that, I mean, right now, not too many people are traveling. So those who have Airbnbs that aren't really doing as well, they use that for residual income. Um, and I've noticed that the rates for Airbnb has gone down as well. Do you predict, like, what are your thoughts about post COVID-19 and everyone's back outside, um, maybe in a couple months, who knows, or a couple weeks? Um, do you see people traveling still? And should people who were considering opening an Airbnb as residual income to continue with that path?
Um, so it's so interesting because everything is like we're all in like a territory that like no one really knows how to maneuver and no one really saw coming. But
Yeah.
it's crazy because I've personally heard like personal stories of like friends who, or friends of friends who have like three current like Airbnbs going, or like four, you know what I mean? And like all of all of their bookings completely canceled obviously when this thing hit, and so now people are stuck with like three to four different like monthly rents that they have to cover, or mortgages, you know what I mean, depending on if they own. And so
Right.
it's really put, I feel like, a lot of Airbnb hosts in really difficult position, especially because not only do you have to cover these, you know, these mortgages or these rent payments, but your income is gone. You know what I mean? Like now your income, so now you're like in double debt, you know, and like that is really scary. Like I think that's probably one of the worst positions to be in when it comes to like as far as from a housing perspective, with this whole COVID-19 thing. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's scary. I think that, I mean, I did read an article that I think Airbnb set up like a $250 million fund to give hosts back, I think up to like 25% of their loss of income. But obviously we know that
Mm.
that's not a lot. But um, yeah, I mean, I think that it's going to be interesting because I think that when things subside, that I think there's going to be a lot of fear and a lot of question around even just the cleanliness of an Airbnb compared to like a hotel. So first,
Right.
I think travel is going to be a little bit slow for a while, so that's going to affect it. But I also just think that when people are ready to go back out and get back to tourism, and when all that stuff resumes, I think that there's going to be a lot more consideration into just the sanitary aspects. And in that way, I think hotels might win. And I think if I were a hotel, I
Yeah.
would be definitely marketing and strategizing on that. So,
Yeah.
um,
That's a good point. So I know, like, it's really tough mentally and just being stuck in the house. For how long have we been in the house now? Over almost 2 months, has
yeah.
it been?
Um,
How are you using this time? Like, I know for myself, I'm such a like, I need to be productive. I can't just sit and not do anything for a long period of time. Like, the first week, it was cool, but then later on, as days start going by, I'm just going crazy. Like, I need to do something. And during these times, we're just so limited. So, have you done anything that could have helped you in your career or self development or anything to use up that idle time?
oh my God, yes. Okay, so a couple of days ago, they announced that like, you know, that we might be coming out of this thing sooner. You know, things it's starting to feel less tense, and you're starting to see more people like out and about. And so um I got like anxiety from the fact that I'm like, "Oh my God, this thing might be over in a couple weeks if I don't have everything in order that like I wanted to have in order. Like I'm gonna feel like I just failed." It was a quote that I circulated all through Instagram, but I think it's something like, you know, the worst thing in the world would be to like come out of this and like not have grown from it or something like that. But I feel like, you know, when this thing hit, I was really actually thankful. I mean, beyond the madness that's going on out in the world, but just for like the time to slow down and like really use this time to implement all the things that we feel like we don't have time for that are going to like with whether it's going to like grow your business or your self development or even like taking the time to like take on the hobbies and things that you don't have time for, like painting or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, like
Yeah, like there's
learning
no
a
reason
new
to
trade.
even something as simple as reorganizing your house. Like I just felt
Things
like
like
I needed some type of okay, you've done something.
yeah,
You weren't just in the house all day, not doing anything loathing.
exactly. And you end up feeling so much better. So my thing that I've been doing this in this period is I've been taking like online like college courses. Like Harvard is like offering their college courses for free. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
there's so much I'm taking like, girl, the day that not that I found it, but the day that this idea came into my head, I signed up for like 7 courses. Like why? Why did I think that I could do 7 courses? I have no idea, but it was like personal finance. It was like self market, like personal branding and
Yeah.
marketing, like contemporary art. I just picked like 7, 8 courses, and obviously I'm not doing all of them, but um, I definitely plan on like coming out of this a lot more not self-informed, but just a lot more knowledgeable on how I can grow my business and yeah, like I'm
Mm,
trying to set up
hmm.
my business plans and all that, my decks and have everything ready to go.
Yeah. So what do you think would be your first on your checklist of to-dos as soon as it's safe and we're able to go out and live our normal lives whenever that will be? What is like one of your must do checklist? What would one of the tasks be?
That's so good. Okay, like do you mean like from a professional standpoint? Yeah. That's what you mean.
Anything.
Huh.
Like so
Oh
for
my God.
example, the first thing that
This,
I really want to do
uh-huh.
is go to the beach in a different country. Like I just need some type of tropical sun and a pina colada. I
Uh,
just need some type
Good
of
question.
foreign something.
So I definitely like already have my birthday trip planned out. So I'm for sure going
Nice.
to Dubai and London. By the way, you should throw this in here. By the way, side note,
What?
if you have the extra funds right now, travel in like the near future is crazy low. There's this one of the top, it's the top hotel in Dubai. Their hotel
Hmm.
rates usually are like $1,500 a night. Like realistically, people, not everyone can stay there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like $350 a night right now, but out in February.
Wow.
So, side note, if we're talking travel plans for like next year, it's a great time to like
I am down.
implement those plans, right? Um,
Yeah. So I wonder if like are these discounts, do they go far out, like even past February? I'm just wondering.
I wonder, right? I think so. Like, I mean, I don't know how far out because also I think you can only plan travel up to like a year. Like anything past a year, usually
Hmm.
flights and hotels don't really let you book. But I
Yeah.
mean, it's a great time to do that. Like, I was
Yeah. That
on
would be so
there.
great.
Yeah, I've got to book this. I think for me, like, I think I'm getting so many of my ducks in a row from a business standpoint that my
Yeah.
first order of business when it's like the world opens up again is to like go beast mode because I think as an entrepreneur and I know that you know this like firsthand, like we're identical in this way, like you have so many things that you can do and there's so many like ideas to make money and they're so scattered, they're not all in one place that it's about
Yeah.
like executing them, you know what I mean? And so I've been using this time to like put together business plans to like learn trades that could potentially like earn like, you know, half a million a year. Like coding is insane right now. And it was a big joke how I got into it, but it's actually like crazy, like how it's been working out. So just things like that, like, you know, things that have nothing to do with my passion and my career and what I go to school for. And, you know, but we find ways to like like, we become creative about making money, and like I'm really, really excited to put these well thought out plans into play. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm like the most anxious to do.
Yeah. And I think just being stuck in this, staying at home really gives you that excitement that, soon when this is over, everything is planned out. I am ready. It's going to hit the floor. My ideas are going to come to life. And just staying at home working on these plans just creates that inspiration, that motivation, and it's just excitement.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's definitely like training, like for boxing or for like the Olympics or something, and
Right.
you're ready to go. So I think
Exactly.
that for sure. And I want to just go out. Like I just want to go to like Delilah or like it's crazy because I'm
Right.
so over going out, but I think I might spend like a week at Delilah, like because I really like
Yeah,
it.
no, I just want a good dinner or good lunch
Yeah,
somewhere
like
with
with
some
your
good music.
girls, drinks. I'm excited for that as well. Like just social
I
activity.
am very excited for that. That is one thing I do miss being waited on, not having to cook my food and just being with friends. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking your time out and catching up with me.
I know. Thank you for inviting me on. I'm so
Yeah,
proud of
of
you. I'm
course.
so happy that you're doing this.
Thank you. Thanks. All right. Well, so from next time, you guys go ahead and follow. You can find Jennifer on Instagram. Would you like to share your handles or best way to contact you if anyone has any questions or wanted to reach out?
Yeah, so my Instagram is this is juice. It's been that way for like forever. So it's this is juice. Exactly how you would spell it.
Perfect.
Thank you for joining us for the Mimosa Hour podcast. Be sure to tune in every Sunday. We would love to hear from you. Send your questions, feedback, or a simple hello to www.theonyxcode.com/Mimosa Hour podcast. Follow Bri.ellee on Instagram at Bri.ellee. Don't miss an episode. Subscribe and turn on your notifications. Until next week, cheers.